so many of you know that for so many years, the two of them have been, I think, art royalty in the city of Chicago. They're both very involved in all phases of the arts. Mary has actually written 2 books, A Guide to Chicago's Murals and A Guide to Chicago's Public Sculpture. And Richard has had his gallery for like 50 years, I would say, and has nurtured a lot of collectors beyond being a dealer himself. He has really put collections together for so many Chicagoans and served as their mentor and guide through all of this. They've been leaders and supporters of so many cultural institutions, from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, WFMT, WTTW, the Goodman Theater, the Newberry Library, the Chicago Humanities Festival, and so many others. Also the Smart Museum, and we have several people representing the Smart here somewhere. I think there's a table of Smarts. I know Richard's been on board the Smart Museum. Also, of course, very involved with the Art Institute, and it's wonderful that we have Jim Kuno here and Suzanne McCullough, who were both very involved a few years ago when Richard and Mary had a special. They've not only have several galleries named the Gray Galleries, but they also had a show of their collection. And this is an amazing collection. There's a very large volume on it, but it's one that spans 7 centuries, and it goes from Poussin to Picasso and Canaletta to Calder. I remember seeing it a few years ago, and they've been giving many of the pieces to the Art Institute, and I know that there will be other museums that will be involved in their largesse as well as the years go by. I also wanted to introduce Joel Henning. Joel is somewhere here. There's Joel. Because he's going to sort of add a little anecdote to one of the many, many things that Richard has been involved in for the city of
Chicago. I'm glad you didn't mention architecture, because that's the one I want to mention. One of my favorite of the Richard and Mary Gray stories, which I got to write about when it happened in December 2003, involved Mies van der Rohe's iconic Farnsworth House. Dr. Farnsworth was by then out of the picture. It was owned by Lord Colombo, who loved great houses by famous architects, but was up the creek financially. After unsuccessfully offering the house to the state of Illinois, he put Farnsworth House up for auction at Sotheby's in New York. Now, to save it from being dismantled and rebuilt God knows where, and there were rumors that it could be in Saudi Arabia or even worse, Pennsylvania, John Bryan organized the Friends of Farnsworth House and commissioned the consummate professional, Richard, to bid on behalf of the group. The Chicago group mustered $6.5 million plus the buyer's premium, but descended into despair when that final authorized bid was topped by one for $6.6 million. To their astonishment, Richard, who was the authorized bidder for the Chicago group, then raised their bid to $6.7 million. And John Bryan, who was the head of this outfit, whispered to him, "Richard, I hope you know you're on your own." Richard's unauthorized final bid succeeded. Thanks to him and his cohort, Farnsworth remains here in Plano for all to see. Of course, the additional money came from Richard and Mary themselves. They are fantastic people.